This tutorial will show you how to export your video in Shotcut. What does export mean? Well, essentially you're going to make a video file that can then be played on any computer anywhere in the world. Right now, all we have on our timeline, this is our timeline, is a series of instructions to the computer to tell it what to do with the files that we've imported, brought into our timeline, trimmed them up, and edited them. This is not a video file, this is a project file. We can't play this anywhere else other than in Shotcut. So how do we make a video file? Well, first thing you have to do is make sure that your timeline is clean. What do I mean by that? Well, if you look, okay, there's my whole project. Although there's lots more shots, I'm just going to export this a little bit here. And you say, okay, it looks good to me. But in fact, you see this green here on the right? That's telling me that there's probably something between this clip and another clip. If I zoom out, minus, oh yeah, I forgot, I put that way down there. You've got to clean off your timeline. Get rid of any stray files that might be on your timeline that you put there temporarily by mistake and left it there. Okay, so plus, plus, plus. Now there's no green indicator saying there's some more coming. Okay, a nice and clean timeline. Now I can export it because I only want to export this. Make sure your music is trimmed to the length of your video. If your music goes for another minute or so, you're going to lose marks. You've got to split your music track and cut it off here and put a fade up or down, depending on whatever your teacher says. Okay, so let's export now. Let's go to export up here. It's very easy in this program. Click export and you get an export window here. So I'm just going to drag up on the gripper here. It's just covering up these clips up here. And I'm in the export screen. Now, there are a whole bunch of settings I could play with. These are called encoders, and these will make the flavor of video that you want to make, the format. Okay, but in this case, we're just going to take the easy route. Because we've used it before, we're going to just use the automatic default setting. But it's important to know if you're doing things for different purposes for your media, there are lots of different encoders, they're called. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to export from our timeline down here. So everything on this timeline will be exported. So I'm just going to click Export File. And this is the name of my file. I'm going to put my name, my student number, okay, underscore, give me what the name of this project file is, and include the version number, version 7. So I know this is the 7th version of my project file, and then I gave it a little bit more instructions there that are more meaningful to me than anybody else. You don't necessarily need that. So I could even get rid of that and just do it like so. Okay, and then it's going to say, and I'm on a Mac, on a PC, it's a little different, but it's essentially the same. It just looks different. Click down for a Mac and tell it which folder now you want to put it in. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to put it in a folder I know where I want to put it. I'm going to go to my grade 11 in this case. It depends on what grade you're in. And I'm going to go to my coffee sequence. And I'm going to click a new folder. And I'm going to call this exported videos underscore coffee scene. And I'll even put my name at the start, so it makes it easier for my teacher to find stuff. So that's a folder I've created. I already gave it this file name, and now I'm just going to export it by hitting save. Now notice it's an MP4. MP4 is a very common encoder, and it'll play on pretty much everything. So that's why we've just left it in the default settings. Click save. And then look over here on the right where the audio meter is. There's a little gripper here. You can bring it out. You can move your audio over a bit more. And this says jobs up here in the top right. And this little blue line here is a progress line. It's telling you how much of the project has been exported. Okay, so it's about 43% is done. So when this is 100%, this video file has been exported. Again, it's an MP4. There's the name of the file. You can't see the whole thing right now. It's actually doing a whole bunch of mathematics right now. It's saying, okay, let's take all these instructions here, do a whole bunch of mathematics to actually make this into a video file called encoding. And again, there's all kinds of different encoders. We'll just give it a second. While it's doing that, I'm just going to go to my Finder, and I'm going to go to that same spot where I said I wanted to put it. So I'm going to go to that folder, because you always check it before you hand it in. I'm going to go to video. It's at 99. There it is, complete. Okay. I'm going to go to my coffee sequence. I think I put it in, exported coffee scene. And there it is there. So what's the last thing I'm going to do before I actually submit it? Is I'm going to double click it and play it. Hopefully you've set your computer so it has VLC. You're going to watch it. And I'm not going to watch the whole thing through. You're going to watch it all the way through, because if there's any mistakes, you just go back and fix them, and then you re-export it. If you spell something wrong, you go back, you fix the spelling mistakes, and re-export it. If you've got a flash of black, you fix it and re-export it, okay? So make sure you check your video file before you then put it on your Google Drive or whatever submission technique that your teacher is using. And that pretty much covers exporting a video file in Shotcut.